I was going to do a video about my recommended HDR settings for Assassin's Creed Valhalla on the Xbox Series X, but then I found something what I really don't like. What I found during my testing today is that when you activate HDR on the Xbox Series X and you play this game in HDR, then the brightness level from the game is not correct anymore. And I will show you what I mean. Okay, so I turned off all the lights because I need to show you something, and I hope I can catch this with my camera. If not, I will describe what's going on. So right now the game is not running in the background. We are in SDR. Brightness is 50. I changed already the brightness to 48 in HDR. As soon as I'm starting the game and game will change to HDR, this will go to 48. And why I did this? Because 50 is not correct anymore. 50 is now too bright. There is no black level anymore, and I'm not sure if you can see this. But 50 is over brighten the darker elements at the moment, and this is why this game looks so washed out, especially in the darker scenes. It's absolutely terrible in my opinion, the HDR implementation here, or this bug, because for me this is a bug, because this is just really happening in the HDR mode and not in SDR. In SDR the black level is perfect, but here in HDR it is just awful. Okay, so another very quick test. This is the very beginning from the game. HDR is activated. 48 is the, in my opinion, correct settings at this moment, because when I change this to 50, which is the standard settings on the HGiG, this looks just everything washed out and very foggy, and even you're losing details in the background. With 48, this nice details coming back, but still I'm not 100% sure if actually 48 is the way to go, or we're talking really about an RGB range issue here. Okay, so now we're looking at SDR at the moment, and brightness 50 is perfect. There's no raise in terms of black. I have to go really high, like 60, to see actually something happen here, which means really the brightness level in HDR is completely wrong. Okay, so when we're looking at the same scene as before in SDR, this looks so much better. We still have a little bit of a foggy picture, but this is more likely now because of we have very less light, and that's the art, or the style from the game. But even I'm increasing my brightness, I'm not losing any details at the moment, not at all. So again, 50 is the standard settings, which is perfectly here in SDR, and you really see a lot of details. It doesn't look washed out. The game is still very dark. I mean, this is a very dark scene, of course, but SDR at this very moment looks so much better than HDR. And of course I tried to change the black level on the HGiG and my Xbox, but there's a slightly problem which I show you in a second. So right now PC RGB is set on the Xbox, which means it's full or extended, 0 to 255, and black level on the HGiG is set to high, or you can leave it on auto, which is perfectly. You can see low is now wrong, high is right. So the problem what we're having here, as soon we start any content which includes HDR, the Xbox will fall back to limited settings, regardless what you have set in the menu. The PlayStation 5 is actually able to output RGB full in HDR. So now we are in RGB 12-bit, and we are also in full 0 to 255. So if you own this game, put it in your PlayStation, make sure that your PlayStation is outputting in full, and what you can see here between auto and high, there's no difference, which means we are outputting in 0 to 255, which is full. Low and auto, there's a difference, which means I'm still correct. We are outputting in 0 to 255. So put it in, make sure PlayStation is outputting in full. Change this to low here on your TV and put in the comments what are your findings are. If you get your perfect black levels back without this washed out effect, then maybe this is the solution for now, but I'm not quite sure, because you never know what is actually wrong with the game, what brightness settings are wrong. This can make things worse as well, you know. So maybe the solution is change the brightness from 50 to 48, or maybe this can be the solution as well. But the final solution is a patch. Different scene, but still SDR. And I like that you have a look on this nice sun in SDR with the nice highlights from the sun. Everything is very bright. My TV is calibrated to 100 candela, and if you like to know what settings I'm using, the link is in the description. And even I'm looking in this direction, everything is very bright. Nice to see. It looks like a perfectly, yeah, winter day, noon or something like this, or maybe a little bit late afternoon, something like this, but very bright. And now we're looking at the same scene in HDR. So that's the same scene with HDR enabled and dynamic tone mapping on, because if you like to play this game with HGiG, then this is just not correct for me, because that is not how a sun looks like, in my opinion. And the game looks very, very dark now, very, very dark. So my recommended settings, if you like to play this game in HDR, reduce the brightness from 50 to 48 on the HGiG. Not sure what model or your TV you're using, so it can be different on your TV, of course. On the HGiG, reduce it from 50 to 48. Use dynamic tone mapping on. I really like HGiG, but in case like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, no way, it's way too dark, especially in the darker scenes or in houses or somewhere else. It's way too dark. The sun looks awful with HGiG, and dynamic tone mapping on, it looks okay. So, in-game settings for this game. And by the way, the in-game settings, or the, let's say like this, the hardware settings from the Xbox in terms of HDR has no impact whatsoever in this game, okay? So you can set whatever you want to, it will not impact anything. So my recommended settings, if you like to use HDR, on the LCCX, in my opinion, or in my case, it was 1000 candela for the maximum luminance, because this was the first step when I couldn't see any difference. So 900, I can see a step to 1000, but 1100, there's no difference anymore. So leave it on 1000 in my case, HGiG, and I increased the exposure to 0.2 because I found the game is still not bright enough. So with 0.2, it comes very close to the SDR content or SDR picture, which I really, really like. So again, my recommendation for this game is actually do not use HDR, because I really don't know if this is the correct HDR picture. We have the brightness issue. I shouldn't do this. Anyway, we have the brightness issue. We have a very weird implementation from HDR, in my opinion. It doesn't look quite right to me. SDR, on the other hand, looks so much better, especially this is way brighter in SDR than in HDR. If you like it more brighter, then SDR is the way to go anyway. If you don't like it, or if you like to play in HDR, reduce brightness to 48, use dynamic tone mapping on, and my recommended settings, and I will show you this again. 1000 candela for the maximum luminance and exposure to 0.2. Okay, so, and now we are at the end from the video. So do me a favor, subscribe to my channel. Just put in a comment what game you'd like to see next. I was thinking about a couple of games, but let me know what you think. And as always, thank you very much for watching me. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.